A federal immigration operation was conducted at another Southern California Home Depot today, and this time with Border Patrol agents pouring out of the back of a Penske truck. CBS News correspondent Nidia Cavazos joining us now with all of these details to this morning's raid. And Nidia, I know you were on the ground talking with witnesses after this raid occurred. What did they tell you?
We now know, according to the Department of Homeland Security, that it's a total of 16 immigrants that were detained. Now, we were on the scene earlier today. We were able to talk to some of the bystanders and some of the immigrants who managed to flee from agents. And they say that most of these day laborers that were outside of the Home Depot parking lot, they initially approached this moving truck thinking it was somebody who was arriving and ready to hire a day laborer, but instead they were met with federal agents. And now in some of the videos that were obtained by CBS News from these raids, we see that these agents arrived in the box of a Penske moving truck. They immediately began spilling out into the parking lot and running after some of these immigrants until they were officially detained.
Nidia, have any officials spoken out about today's raid?
You know that the Department of Homeland Security has confirmed the total number. It's 16, and they've also said that this was part of a targeted raid, which they're dubbing this operation as Trojan Horse. Now, the Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney Bill Lassaley, who's based in L.A., has said that there's no sanctuaries that are out of reach for the federal government. And he also posted on X saying, for those who thought immigration enforcement had stopped in Southern California, think again. And from what we were hearing from immigrants on the ground and some of these day laborers, some of them say that they had chosen to stay home for a couple of weeks to wait this out. They were fearing deportation, and until recently, they began to head out to these Home Depot parking lots again because they needed to work, and they thought that these enforcement activities might have slowed down. But today, some of their relatives and friends were detained.
Nidia Cavazos. Nidia, thank you. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons told CBS News that his agency is still focused on deporting the worst of the worst, but that a lack of cooperation from some local law enforcement agencies is actually getting in the way. So in a recent exclusive interview, Lyons said that when jails and prisons refuse to turn over non-citizen inmates, ICE agents have to go out into communities to find them and will arrest anyone else living in the U.S. illegally that they encounter along the way. So how are sanctuary policies impacting ICE arrests? The CBS News Confirmed team dug into the data.
One of the ways ICE targets immigrants with criminal records is by issuing what are called detainers. These are requests to jails and prisons to share a person's release date or to hold them for an additional 48 hours so that ICE can travel to the facility and arrest them. Some local law enforcement agencies don't comply with these requests because of sanctuary policies that limit cooperation with ICE. Administration officials have said this prevents ICE from arresting dangerous criminals, and ICE data suggests these policies can make it harder for federal agents to go after those already in the criminal justice system. We found that in jurisdictions the administration classifies as sanctuaries, ICE made an arrest for about 1 in 5 detainers it issued from January 20th through June 27th. Everywhere else, that arrest rate is nearly 3 in 5. ICE told CBS News it issues detainers on incarcerated people with prior convictions for rape, murder, and drug trafficking. But ICE's own data suggests there's more to the story. ICE labeled 44% of people it issued a detainer on with the lowest threat level, or no threat level at all. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons also claims that the agency is making more so-called collateral arrests in sanctuary jurisdictions. That is, picking up immigrants without criminal records. The data also paints a more complicated picture here. We found these arrests are increasing nationwide. Take Texas, which has no sanctuary policies. The state saw a 260% spike in non-criminal arrests this year compared to last year. California, which is a sanctuary state, saw a similar increase at 250%. So while it is true that sanctuary policies can make it harder for ICE to detain incarcerated non-citizens, the data doesn't clearly show these policies are the reason we're seeing an increase in arrests of immigrants without criminal records.